one for the cast of Severance! OMG! Hello, everybody. What a treat. Adam Scott is sitting next to me. Patricia Arquette brought snacks. I love this so much. How are you guys?
Great, how are you? Thanks for coming, everybody.
I know, look at this crowd. This is a good crowd, huh guys?
Very good crowd.
Yes, indeed. They are here in the flesh. They are not severed. Everybody is here. We're going to talk about it because there's lots to say. There's lots, you know, when I was talking about this series and kind of introducing you all, I was using some words like cerebral and bold and all of those things, and it's true. And I wonder, Adam, just when you get the scripts for this show and you're reading them, are you doing what we're doing and saying, are we really doing this? Can we do this? Like, this is bananas.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I wanted to do it so badly when I first read Dan's script for the first episode. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe how good it was, and it was such a good idea, this idea of you severing yourself from work and your real life.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it hadn't been done before. It was such a simple, great idea, and I knew that if I was able to do it, then I knew that I had been kind of heading towards a role like this my entire career.
I mean, we've had 2 seasons of delicious madness of this show, and it just keeps getting better and better. But I want to know, Patricia, from you, what was your reaction to that massive final episode that just took us here and here, right? Back and forth and in and out and all the way around. What was your reaction to that?
Well, some of it I knew about, even from the beginning, when we had first had conversations about some of it. But to be in that place, we shot it in Newfoundland, where there was actual, like a giant glacier floating by, and it's a very surreal place. You can go to the restaurant and get a bowl of fried cod's tongues. And I thought, well, this is very Cobell, this atmosphere in this world. So cool to work on a show that has that kind of scope.
Yeah.
Especially these days.
You know, Britt, it's interesting because, you know, most of the characters have an innie and an outie, right? And so how was it when you were having to develop both Helena and Helly and having to keep the secret of you being both of these characters and kind of how that I don't know, like how it affects how you develop them both?
Well, I had the privilege of walking around in Helly's shoes in season 1 in those hallways, and then the great gift, the 5D chess game that Dan wrote for me in season 2, to get to be Helena wearing Helly's shoes,
right,
walking around those hallways, and it was amazing to have a front row seat to see what it's like to be 2 parts of the same person who are in complete odds with each other.
Yes, honestly, and you do it brilliantly. You really do. Everybody, right? Claps for Britt Lauer for sure. Mr. Milchick, Tramell Tillman. What an arc you had this season in season 2. What just are your thoughts about Milchick's arc?
He's gone through so much.
Yeah.
And the man just keeps trying and trying every facet that he can. And he fails every time.
Every single time.
We thought the Ortbo was going to go well. It took a turn. Even tried to throw a band in there. That took a turn. We got locked in the bathroom.
Yes.
It was just so much fun to be able to go on that journey from the very beginning, and even having his promotion from the top, and then, having these innies just keep him on his toes.
Is he still a company man? Do you believe he is? Because we get that at the beginning, he's a company man, but is he still?
I mean, this is a man that has traveled to people's home to deliver pineapple baskets. That screams company man.
Okay, we'll give it to him for sure. Dichen, Gemma, of course. Her reveal is one of the biggest surprises, I believe, of the entire season. So what do you think went into playing these different sides of her and kind of learning about her backstory, which we learned in episode 7, I guess, of this season, and the any version of her.
I mean, I feel like so much of it had been really crafted by what, you know, the other characters had mentioned about her in season 1, with Mark talking about what he remembered of her, and your character and Rickon talking about, you know, what she meant to them. So that was a really lovely foundation in terms of something to anchor who Gemma was. And then there was so much collaboration with hair and makeup and costumes, and then also as an actor, and I don't know if anyone else feels the same, when you walk into a space, it really informs you a lot of where your attention is and what the given circumstances are in that environment, and that really helped me along the way.
For you, this is for you and Adam both, because I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I feel like if the chemistry doesn't work between the two of you, this series doesn't work, right? And so what did you do maybe to like develop that chemistry, that emotional care that you really do need in order to kind of make this train go?
Well, it's funny because Dichen and I hadn't spent a ton of time on screen together up until that point. Certainly no time on screen together as Audi Mark and Gemma, but we had hung out a bunch just making the show and being around each other. So I feel like by the time we shot episode 7, we knew each other pretty well, and had, you know, working with Jessica Lee Gagne and Ben and Dan really kind of figured out their relationship. But again, we were only seeing the tip of the iceberg, so just the opportunity to see a little bit further and a little bit deeper down of what these two were when they were together was pretty amazing. And to do it with Dichen was just incredible.
One thing is we shot episode 7 at the very end of season 1.
Oh.
We filmed out of order, and that actually helped Adam and I spend more time together just as human beings, learning about each other's families and our children, and just those little conversations I feel can really help, you know, just disarm you
I wonder, Jen, Devin takes a real turn this season when she decides, you know, she's going to trust her child with Harmony. What do you think about, again, her arc and these decisions that she made in this season?
I think she's just flying by the seat of her pants, honestly.
Right.
Truly, she's breastfeeding, she's tired, she's underslept, she's just found out the person she's been grieving for a few years is in fact alive. She's worried about her brother, so I think when she gets that some semblance of a life raft in this person she doesn't necessarily trust but realizes is her only out, she just takes it. I think she's a gal of impulse.
Yeah,
sure, I think.
Yeah, she is. Okay, so Adam, here's the question that I know so many people in the audience have. When did you learn that Mark was going to make that decision, that he was going to stay with Helly? Because that was one that I was like, oh no!
Well, that had been the end point of the season for a long time, and we always knew that's where we were headed. Whether the season was going to actually end where it did end, or maybe end right before the decision was made, we weren't totally sure. I think it ended at the right place. As far as the decision goes, that was always the decision, just because for any Mark, that's the only decision. There's no other way to, for him anyway, being faced with walking out the door and maybe never existing again.
Right.
He didn't know if his Audi was going to ever come back in. And the woman he's in love with is standing right behind him. I mean, it's really kind of no decision at all.
Do you all agree with that? I don't know if I think it's that easy.
No, it's not. I'm simplifying it. It's far more complicated than that. Certainly when taking into account what it is he's walking away from.
Right.
But he knows her as Miss Casey, so you have to remember, Amy Mark is, for all intents and purposes, like 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
He's sort of in his adolescent
Yes.
and rebellious stage a bit, so he's making really impulsive decisions. Right up until he walked up to that door, he was going to walk out, but then kind of being faced with mortality and Helly standing right there, I think he just impulsively made that
It was
choice.
such a brilliant scene. Britt, I want to know what you think about it, and also I want to know what you think about Dichen as well.
Yeah, that day was, we filmed all day long. It was a really emotional day. It was really, heart-wrenching to watch Dichen on the other side. I think your hands, you were hitting the door so hard. They had to put a cushion on the door because your hands were hitting the door so hard. And so it is this complex moment. And of course, in all good tragedy, you hope against the inevitable that this person, Mark, is going to have to make a decision between these two loves. But it's like a love tetrahedron, right? It's not quite a triangle,
Right.
Because there's a lot of perspectives that go into it. But yeah, you just have to commend Dan's writing for making your heart really wrench.
Oh, I hope you guys have those palpitations. I guess that's what I was having when I was watching it. Did you as well, Dichen, when you were filming it and then watching it?
Yeah, absolutely, because I was like, don't mess up this scene. Because it's like the cliffhanger. But no, it was such a beautiful moment for Mark and Helly.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a tragic moment for Gemma, which I think she realizes very quickly what's happening, what's taking place. But I think just the commitment that everyone put into the work, as we do in every single scene on this show, you guys have no idea the level of commitment, the crew in every single department, and the cast and the directors put into every scene. It's like, I don't know what the right way to describe it is. It's like, it's not just like getting fast food or like fast TV, like the craftsmanship and the level of effort that goes into every moment and frame of this show is like nothing I've ever experienced.
Yeah, you all are nodding your head. You all feel the same way. Patricia, what was your favorite episode? I know that's kind of like a Sophie's Choice question, but your favorite episode of season 2?
Well, I mean, that ending was just mind-boggling. And I'm like, well, hold on. Helly and Mark, their whole relationship is framed by their feeling about this bad parent, Lachman, and acting against that thing. They don't know what it's really like to be boring and wake up in the morning and did you leave the toilet seat down and what's going on? These guys had a real relationship without a outer thing.
See, that's how I feel too.
They never, these guys haven't had that yet. And I don't know, because Lachman is such a large presence, if they'll ever have that, if that's ever possible. Are you gonna wake up in her mansion? What's gonna happen? Her weird dad down in the kitchen? Sit there with a plate of eggs? I don't know if that's gonna be so cheery after a while, but new love is very exciting.
Yes.
And when you have a shared enemy, it can be a real turn on. But boring stuff can be boring.
I was gonna say, but when you turn 50, like I did this year, consistency is cute. Consistency born is real cute. That new love, all right, that's okay. Give me that plate of eggs in the morning. Just saying. Tramell, we gotta talk about the dancing.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Tell me about the dance moves. What was the inspiration? And I feel like in real life you can give me a 1-2 step. You can give me a little, you know what I'm saying? You can give me a little bit.
I can move a little.
You can do a little bit. So tell me about the inspiration for that, because I know that everybody, that is something that sticks and stays with us. It's one of the best things that we've seen in this whole series for sure.
Well, thank you. The first season was all improv. It really was in the moment. You turn the music on, turn the lights on, and we just having a dance party and playing with each other from point to point. So that was a great time. And the second season with choreography and merriment was really a bit more structured in that sense. We really wanted to find a way that Milchek can express himself in a different way. And so we see that he's battling identity throughout the second season.
Yeah.
And so bringing in this HBCU feel onto the severed floor.
Loved it.
Was really a collaborative moment between myself, Ben, and Dan to really find how does this man identify with himself and with Lumen and the pressure that he's under.
Do you get to have a moment, like a cut the check moment, like, yeah, that was good, cut the check, that's right, we did that, we did that.
I mean, there's so many great moments, especially in season 2. I think really for me, watching the Orkbo, unfold, and the fact that we got to go outside, and be by the tallest waterfall in the world, was really quite a thrill.
Well, the whole season was a thrill. You guys being here today was a thrill. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate you all. Everybody, please give it up for the cast of Severance.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
What a treat. Thank you guys so much. This was incredible.